metaverse, yo. In the metaverse, in the metaverse, in the metaverse.
It's not a journey. Every journey ends, but we go on. The world turns and we turn with it. Plans disappear. Dreams take over. But wherever I go,
500 combos!
here you are.
I'm in the metaverse, I'm online. I'm on rockside break windows. I'm in the metaverse, I'm online. That's when I open up my windows. I'm in the conscious, I'm so virtual. Tell me what's the greatest way. Should I get virtual? I'm in the meeting in a high rise. Open my eyes, my dreams in sight. Never gave up, never gave in. Always stood tall when the place just caved in. Recognize myself, you know what? I'm amazing. Made it to the top, go we hot, so amazing. I've been making moves on the blockchain, we rake in. I've been selling bot after bot, it's amazing. I've been setting trends in the metaverse, we vape in. Reaching for the stars, you know limit, that's a chase. We grinding every night. Building my buddies in the base.
Perfect!
Right, like a spotlight baked in. I'm the one she really run to. I believe in myself. I believe in myself. I believe in myself. Believe in myself. I believe in myself.
Go!
I believe in myself. Let's fly, right?
Let's get
Yeah,
it.
yeah. So, without further ado, I'd like to welcome our guest, Stilo. Welcome to the show. It's great to have you on the show. Would you like to give us a brief introduction of who you are to the Waking Bakers?
Yo, what up, guys? Can you hear me okay?
Yes, loud and clear.
All right. Yeah, my name's Stilo. Great to be here. Thanks for having me. Yeah, my name's Dope Stilo. I'm the founder of the Dope Stilo Music Club, where we bring VR events and experiences to life. I'm here to share my music and my journey with that and the metaverse.
Awesome, awesome. Yeah, see that you're an artist that is mostly in the metaverse, and we're gonna be speaking about that in a bit. But I do have a few questions for you regarding your music career and how you got into the music space. So how did you get into music? How did you start having an interest in music?
Music's always been like a huge passion of mine. So I started making beats and downloaded Fruity Loops, got super hooked, and after that I wanted to perform the music. So I started performing live, at like church. Was like my first performance. It was like a cool little song I made and uh, yeah, so just performing live and it's pretty much led me to where I am today.
Awesome, awesome. Could you kind of describe the music that you usually make? What kind of vibe do you kind of make for those who don't know?
It's definitely like just an original sound for sure. It's a Latin English vibe. There's just a lot of different types of sounds. It's been an interesting journey. DJing in the metaverse has really shown me a lot of like dope new ways to look at the music and listen to the music
Yeah.
and experience it. So it's been fun. I've been speeding it up a little bit and just turning it up, and it's been dope. So definitely check it out on Spotify and just Google on all streaming platforms and definitely on the blockchain.
Yes. So how did you get into, the Web3 space? How did you get into the blockchain space, as well as how did you, discover the metaverse? Let me just group those questions together so that you could just answer it at once. So, how did you get introduced to like the Web3 space first, and then how did you discover the metaverse?
Well, I was intrigued by the potential of the blockchain, and I heard about collectibles, kept hearing about it, so I checked it out, dove in, especially with NFTs. It was just like a natural progression from music to Web3. It's just been like a beautiful marriage, really. So the metaverse, I got into that with like just like experiencing Web3 and like everything turning three dimensional, like these PFP projects and a lot of really dope um, like announcements from like Meta and VR companies like progressing in the space. So naturally, it just like was it just led me here. And so now I've been creating digital experiences, and it's been an amazing time
Mhm.
just building community, feeling connected to the world. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, and like the way I discovered the metaverse was to just really, I stumbled upon it while exploring like new ways to connect with people, and first it was like Twitter Spaces, X Spaces, it's a really dope way of connecting in real time, sharing information, and that was like two dimensional. So then someone was talking about, shout out Meta Mike, he was talking about a three-dimensional space, and it was kind of hard for everyone to wrap their head around it, but I checked it out, loved it, and I was like, I'm gonna be here every Wednesday, 11 a.m. And it's been 135 weeks in a row, so it's been awesome. It's been so much fun.
Wow, 135 weeks. That's amazing. That's a long time, man. Um, so the metaverse, because I see you mostly in spatial, and I've experienced, your metaverse events. Like being in that world is amazing, and it's incredible to see how many people engage in that space. It kind of just makes me realize how slept on and how it could be something bigger in the future. Right now, we're still early, and you're kind of one of the pioneers from what I see in this space. And how does it feel to be like one of the few, making use of the metaverse and cultivating, your brand using the metaverse?
Yeah, I'm mostly active on Spatial. It's where I host my weekly Super Wednesday concert series, um, and using it for me like has really just helped me in so many ways. It's helped expand my consciousness. It's helped expand like perspectives, and it's helped like build community where like there's a bunch of dope people there growing, and like we're all kind of doing it together in our own facets. So it's fun, we work on things, check back in with each other, have fun, keep it positive, and just keep going, and you don't really notice or feel anything because I feel like I see the vision, I see where it's going to go, I see what's happening, and I believe in it. So I'm kind of just pushing forward in a sense of like, like I know it, like this is it, and it's you sometimes look around and you're like, whoa. There aren't really other musicians in here. There's not that many artists. And there's not that many like 3D projects in there yet. So it's really interesting to see what happens and how it develops.
Yeah. So Which what do you think the perks of like being a metaverse performer? As you say, it's like there's not too many people in that space right now, but like what have you seen as being the perks of being in the metaverse?
Some of the perks, are definitely reaching like a global audience, and you get to create unique and immersive experiences that go beyond like a traditional performance. You get to create a new algorithm for yourself. You are um, in a place without an algorithm, really, essentially. And for me, I use other platforms that shine light on this place that has no algorithm. And, it might not have an algorithm, which means it probably doesn't have many people either. So you kind of just work with it all together and marry everything for how it's supposed to work. And it's helped me. It's helped me, my algorithm. It's helped my music, my consciousness. Like I get to, I realize like my music's pretty slow. We need to speed it up, and I've learned so much. Personally, as a person, as a businessman, as a brand builder. Uh, it's been an amazing experience. It's and also too like I'm performing every week, so I'm learning. I'm like it feels like a real show because I'm testing out tracks. I'm testing out different things, working out new ways to create immersive experiences. So it's a blast.
Yeah, I can imagine. I can imagine how that is because the metaverse from my perspective is a beautiful way for you as an artist to kind of create this world for yourself and allow people to, enjoy your space. You can be as creative as you want to and get people to engage in the kind of stuff that you like. And as an artist, you now understand yourself even more by creating all these amazing experiences for those who come through. And once you see, okay, what people like, then you will continue to make what people like even more without having the hassle of needing to get all the equipment to set up things. I mean, like getting the costs of being able to have all the things that you would need to do an actual live performance. With the metaverse, it's just like your world. It's your world. You get to customize it according to what you like instead of having a setup that's already there and you just have to set up according to them. Last week I saw you were like you had a boat. You were on a yacht, and that was a crazy experience. Like I'm barely in the metaverse, and like being in those experiences was amazing, as well as your birthday experience. It was like wow, that was so amazing, especially the world. It was just so surreal just being in the metaverse. It just made me realize like wow, you can do and be anything in that space without having any limitations and being kind of doubtful in some way. As an artist, you can just do as you please and be who you are. It's more about creating your world. How do you feel about that? Like being able to just create your own world without having any limitations.
Well, it's for me, it's imagination, and I collaborate with a lot of people. So, I did what I did needed to do to get by at any moment. So like, in the beginning there was free templates, and Spatial still offers free templates for anyone that wants to create a gallery right now, and it's awesome. Then there's like Sketchfab, where you can like look for stuff, lay it out in Spatial. They make it pretty easy. So that we did that for a while, where we did a Mars thing, we did an island thing, and then came Unity. So it's now collaborating with like Cyber Nerd Baby. They've been amazing. They created an amazing world for me, where we held so many concerts. We held like the 100th anniversary concert there, or the 100th celebratory concert there, where a lot of really dope people came, and uh, really dope people in the tech world too, and all the creators. So, from there, and then creating with builders, or collaborating with builders, and being like, hey, I want this, I like this, I like that. From my experience, the DJ booth should be here just because of the feeling. And uh, from that's led me to, I needed something that was fresh and dope, and I saw the exclusible yacht, and I bought that on OpenSea for like 93 bucks. It used to be worth like a lot, and I saw it, I snagged it, and it just comes with updates. There's like jet skis now that work, and so this last yesterday we were on the island by the yacht, and we partied on the island. The footage was incredible. People were doing jumps off jet skis over the island onto the other ramp. Like it was while the people were dancing on the sand and swimming in the water. It was really cool. The music was really special too. I dug into the vault and just found some really dope stuff. So it's cool. That's the beauty of it. I got to experiment with that music that I totally forgot I made like 10 years ago.
It's really incredible to hear that like NFTs are immersed in that way in the metaverse as well, and that you can make use of your tokens in the sense of it becoming a an accessory in the metaverse. I'm not too fond of the metaverse like that, but like hearing that you can do a lot of stuff like that is incredible. What else could you do with NFTs in the metaverse?
You can token gate events. You can
Oh.
create special spaces that people can visit if they hold that token. It's kind of like a 3D website. So like when I
Mhm.
saw a token gated websites, I was like, why would you token gate a website? But it meant like you token gated another, a secret extra layer to your
Mm,
website, and that added
yeah.
like a more immersive experience. So this kind of does that in 3D ways. Granted, it's early. It's early, but you got to practice and find your goals, and then you strike on that thing.
What blockchains are you on with regards to creating NFTs and releasing music?
I'm on Ethereum mostly, and then
Hmm.
a little bit of Polygon. My first collection was on Polygon, and that was my Genesis Polaroids. And I would be in Twitter Spaces, and people would sing so amazing, and be like, "Man, you should create something that represents you." Well, I don't have a studio. Well, I'm like, okay, well, grab a picture of you, a Polaroid or something, and put that on and mint that. And in the description, like, write about your goals and your dreams, and maybe a timeline of what you want to do. And people will believe in that, and that will represent you as a musician and fund your first song. And steps like that. So uh, it's pretty interesting how you can use the blockchain to get started. And Polygon was great. It was my first experience. It was free to mint. It was a cold mint, and people would mint. That was why I did my first collection. Then I chose Ethereum because I saw a lot of the like, the I saw like the prestige like an Ethereum NFT would hold. So um, yeah, Polygon I use for like giveaways and like rewards at the concerts. I've also done some cool stuff with pools. They're a dope company, P00LS. Um, they let you create your own tokenomics on the blockchain and reward your holders for what they do. If they follow you on platforms, they'll reward them, weekly with like 200 of your economic tokens. And then it can just go deeper and deeper. But using every blockchain, for a specific reason is dope. If I were to
Hmm.
release something on Tezos, I would collaborate with a dope artist on Tezos, and because I think like Tezos is more about like the cover art, and like the art community. It's really, big. So, yeah.
And that's true. Like all the blockchains have, specific and different
Benefit.
perks
Yeah.
to them, and you can definitely make use of them in so many different ways. And I look forward to some kind of cross chain linking between all these blockchains, so that you could move your uh, data and your value across these chains without having to have certain wallets for each chain. It's just like one universal wallet in order to move this value across these things. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's pretty awesome to hear that you started off with the visual aspect of NFTs, and then got into the audio aspect of things. One thing I want to find out is, when it comes to like the Web 2 space, some of your fans, you probably have like some fans that were interested in joining the metaverse, or seeing what you have been doing within the Web 3 space. How was it bringing these people to the metaverse? Was it a challenge to bring some of your Web 2 fans to the metaverse?
Yeah, it was a challenge at first, but by educating and guiding them, they were gradually introduced to the new space and like the new medium. Uh, like for everything, you kind of take a 1 through 10 rule, where you have like three super fan, like super hardcore, like people that believe in you. Then you have like 4 through 8 who believe in you, but they're not going to like cross that bridge. And then there's like a couple, the top two that that just don't participate at all and won't even think about it. So you just kind of have to like play that thing, know that there's always whatever it is that you migrate or whatever it is you do, you're gonna have like that rule. So yeah, it was, but it's fun. Like the dopest people that I've known for the longest times, listening to the music together, they've followed and embraced it easily and loved it. It's pretty cool.
Awesome. So do you think there should be like an easier way to on-ramp people into the Web 3 space and get into like um, the blockchain space, basically?
Yeah, I mean the blockchain space is a little daunting, and the metaverse space is new, and no one really knows what can be done, like sharing a screen, co-working. I've engineered songs with artists in the metaverse, where I put my D8, my workstation in front of them, and they can hear what I'm playing. And I'm like, hey,
Yeah.
do you like that? Do you not like that? What do you think about moving this here? And it's pretty dope. You can do so many cool things. You could do shows, have a live artist perform and do a live painting, during that hour. You can do comedy, you can do art. I know I'm a guy named Meta Coach who he does one-on-one sessions in front of an audience, on personal healing. So it's pretty cool.
Awesome.
I think it's going to be really big with education as well.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, the metaverse is definitely going to be a new way for everybody to collaborate without having to be there physically. And I do have a question. Speaking of like that experience, have you ever done like a crossbreed between physical performance, being in the real world, and merging the metaverse together? And if you did, how was that experience?
Yeah, we one event we did, it was powered by Spatial, and they flew me out to New York. It was so dope, so much fun. It was like a couple 3 days, and we did a show at the Sam. They did a huge NFT NYC event and asked me to perform at the end. So I performed, like the songs that I was performing at the time in the metaverse, and it was just an amazing experience. We had it at the Samsung store in Soho, so there was like a 35-foot screen, projecting the metaverse as if you were in it, and like a camera flying around, and they were being streamed the show that we were putting on. So it was like really cool. Everyone could talk, see each other, and then you could see the posts on Twitter and be like, oh my gosh, there's my avatar in that post of someone posting, it live at the actual event. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I can see that being the new thing, so that like people who don't have access to being able to fly out basically to the event that an artist, a big artist or their favorite artist is performing at, rather experience it in the metaverse and kind of get the same experience of enjoying themselves in the comfort of their homes too. I see that like kind of being the new way of merging the digital realm and the physical realm. I do picture that being more of the way performances and live concerts happen in this new day and age. So we're going to be speaking about community, and that's basically the topic. So how did you find your community in the Web3 space?
Um, Being just part of a tribe, hanging out with like-minded individuals, Twitter Spaces, super dope start, really easy. A lot of people have Twitter. And then just literally uh, just engaging authentically, consistently, providing value and sharing with each other was a big thing. Communities grow around shared experiences and mutual respect. So that's kind of what that's kind of how I found my community, and yeah, I got into the metaverse.
Awesome, awesome. So, what would you say um, are the things a, an artist would need to do in order to keep their community engaged, especially in this Web3 space? How would an artist need to keep their community engaged, or get a community to engage with them?
My community grew organically through consistent engagement and offering unique experiences. The Super Wednesdays played a
Mm.
huge role in that. I think like, regular interaction, fresh content, and listening to like feedback, was super key. So that's kind of just how we kept rocking and kept going through it all.
Could you explain the Super Wednesday? Like, describe what Super Wednesday is for those who don't know the Stilo experience or Stilo's world.
Yeah, Super Wednesday has been going on 135 weeks in a row, every Wednesday at 11 a.m. This merch right here, this shirt that I have on, it's a dope Stilo Music Club shirt, and it has an NFC chip where you can scan your phone, and if you have Spatial, it'll pop right into Spatial. And then I have the hoodie, which if you have the hoodie, it pops into the live stream on YouTube. So like right now, we're streaming on YouTube too. We're in Spatial right now. We're streaming the YouTube into
Mm.
Spatial. We're in multiple places, and yeah, having like the tech merch and everything, with the Super Wednesday, it's basically a digital activation. Communities come alive, come together, and rock out. I DJ like my greatest hits and all original music. Pretty dope stuff.
Man, that's incredible. Like being able to, you know, incorporate this new digital age into everything, and having your community as well as like
Yo,
keeping them
you here?
engaged in that way, finding
Yeah, you
finding
here?
different ways for them to
Yeah.
enjoy the Stilo brand is
Oh,
pretty
perfect. Yeah.
incredible. So have
Go
you
go up there. I'll open the door for you. Buzz
seen
me in.
any downsides
I'll
to
just text me
being
and
a
I'll open the
metaverse
door. Yeah.
performer? And if you have, what are some downsides to being a metaverse performer?
Ah, um, let's see. I would say, it's just you have to be consistent, be ready for the long
Mm.
road, be ready to learn, and, learning how to also socially interact with others. The best people to work with are, positive and consistent. It's just so that would be like just some of the things like that. Just you takes a lot of grit, and a lot of
Mm.
grind. So.
Yeah, it is a challenge, when it comes to, anything, doing anything which comes with, getting people to engage more, or having to do something out of the ordinary. It's more so being consistent and having to continue with it, no matter what. Because you got to be disciplined enough to stay committed to, you know your your vision and your goals as an artist. Most people give up, and I think that's why not a lot of web3 artists make it, is because they're not as consistent. And last week I was speaking about, coming up with strategies as web3 artists, or as an artist in general, and how to, make it in this new space. And one of the strategies and one of the points I made was, being consistent, and don't go a long time without releasing music. Because in the web3 space, it's more about consumption, and getting a lot of engagement, creating, all these things that can get your community to engage with you, create even some kind of shock value. It can even be a video, it could be like some music, it could be like what you do, giveaways, NFTs, giving away merch. Those are some things that, you need to do as an artist in this space, in order to, continue with engagement, or getting to a place of, comfortability. Because once you get into that place, then you definitely will start to get an audience, and your audience and your community will start growing with you. They'll do more of the work with you. What do you see Web3 as compared to Web2? How would you compare the two, and what are the differences you see within the two spaces?
Web 2, Web 3, man, that's a whole conversation in itself. I would say like Web 3 there, it's a whole new place and there's a lot less people. And so it's not as saturated as like maybe Web 2 would be. But it's a lot easier to like express yourself because people are listening and people are watching. Things are changing, technology's coming, it's here, it's the internet's changing. So the first thing I would do is just like learn about like what's happening with this new internet that's coming, like Google, how is the internet
Mm,
changing into web 3, you know um, and so it's also like a lot better like monetarily. I feel like you might not like streaming wise, like, you don't really make money from that. You make live from, good money from shows, like live shows. But sometimes you need to break out of the algorithm and get some attention. So that's where Web3 is. You use that to like kind of stand out, get some momentum, get the ball rolling, and start going.
awesome, awesome, awesome. Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. I definitely see it as a way, more so, I see it as a place for, well, Web3, of course, is a new internet, but I do see it as the way for people, especially artists, to create their um, community, and their community pushing them a bit more to go,
Hmm.
so that's where I see things going. So I do have a few more questions for you, and then I want to get into a segment with you called overrated, underrated. So one thing. is for those who are interested in getting into the metaverse, what would be the advice for them to start? Where do you think they should start?
Start by learning the basics of Web3, join communities, experiment with creating or attending events in Twitter Spaces, whether it's in the metaverse, just jumping into the comments, jumping into conversations. I think like creating a network is really important. Just you'll see like you'll have one friend, two friends, three friends, five friends, 10 friends, and so forth. So.
Mm. Yeah, it's yeah, I think that's definitely the best way even to start with anything is just to see how it goes and how people engage in that space. So what do you think or where do you see the metaverse going in a couple of years? What do you see the final version of it to be like?
I see the metaverse becoming more mainstream. I see a lot more people using it, like a lot more interactive experiences, no matter like who you are or like where you come from. There's going to be like a really big adoption across like industries, education. Um, I think a lot of things are going to become, gamified, and like in-game assets are going to be
Mm,
really important. So, yeah, focusing on that. That's for sure.
definitely. That's awesome. Um, okay, so I do have a segment that I usually do called overrated, underrated. Uh, are you ready to get into that?
Let's do it.
All right, let's get it. Overrated, underrated.
Life ain't really tragic, cause life is really magic. It's full of a lot of tricks like a hat loaded with rabbits. You always get
Underrated.
a chance, so you gotta go out and grab it.
Okay, okay. For those who don't know, overrated, underrated is where I give our guest some topics and they'll tell me if they think it's overrated or underrated. So, if for anyone in the chat, if you want to, take part in it, just tell us if you think this topic is overrated or underrated and why. So, Stilo, the first one, overrated, underrated, is
Under
live instruments.
underrated.
Do you think they underrated, especially when you're performing?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
All right. Okay, cool. Underrated it is. So I also think it's underrated because performing with live instruments is always amazing. It creates that experience, especially similar to the metaverse, some immersive experience. It's definitely one of those things where you definitely have to have that as an artist to create some type of uniqueness,
Yep.
for yourself. That was a pretty quick one and a pretty easy one, I
Yeah.
guess. Yeah. Next one is NFTs. Like NFTs in general, what do you think about them? Do you think they're overrated or underrated?
Underrated.
And why do you think they're underrated?
Oh, come on. The power, the stamp, the public ledger, the authenticity,
Mm,
uh the additions.
yeah, that's true. That's true. Like with NFTs, it's really slept on thing. You can definitely do a lot, especially with it being such a blank canvas. This is not. I don't think there should be rules to it. There should be more that you can do with it because it just links to a physical asset or even something digital, and being able to mix the two and do a lot with it is something that I think is underrated. More so, the blockchains or people who set these certain standards kind of come up with these uh these things where it's closed off. But yeah, it's definitely underrated. The last one is the music industry and technology. So technology in general, if I can say, like using basically uh, modifying music consumption in a way, being able to get music digitally and produce your music. using certain platforms. What do you think of, that and the music industry engaging with technology in that sense?
I say do whatever it takes to get yourself some momentum. You know, if you can't find a producer, you can't afford a producer, if you can use AI, use it and get a beat going. Like, it's great for ideas as well. You know, it's like very inspiring to just create something and, tweak it in the way you would. So definitely for it. Um, Definitely underrated.
Awesome, underrated. I'm kind of borderline though. I'm borderline with this one because I think the music industry, it's beautiful that we are getting into this technological space, but I do miss also being using the analog and being able to access physical things like CDs and being able to get that analog sound, as an artist. Those kind of things get to me, and I'm like, okay, this kind of makes it overrated sometimes, but at the same time it's underrated, because we get to have access to things with ease. So yeah, I would say, okay, overall it is underrated. So yeah, we can go with underrated for this one. um Appreciate you pulling through. That is the overrated underrated segment. Appreciate you, Stilo. I do have two more questions for you. So what's your definition of success? What do you define as success?
Success is creating meaningful connections through music, leaving a lasting impact, and growth.
Okay. So, yeah, it is about, creating these meaningful connections as well, like growing with your people, being able to understand, where you're headed to and seeing where you came from. So definitely that. Appreciate you, Stilo. What's next for you? What's next for you, and where can people find you?
Oh man, what's next for me? Right now, expanding the Dope Stilo Music Club, exploring new metaverse platforms, new experiences, gamifying the concerts, and like just
Mm,
continuing to innovate with my performances, my live streams, um, get rewards for the communities that like get together, and yeah, new music. That's for sure.
awesome, awesome. Appreciate you, Stilo. It was great having you on the show, and I look forward to, experiencing more of the metaverse experience with you. Because I that your performances were like my first being in the metaverse, so I want to experience it a bit more and see where it goes, to see how could potentially expand and grow from just being in the web 2 space. So um, great to have you once again. I do have some songs that I'm going to play of yours. Could you give us a brief explanation for the song Feel? That's one of your latest songs that I saw you've released. So could you give us a brief explanation before we play that?
Yeah, I haven't been making as much music lately. Been more thinking and community building, but just always with music on the back of my mind. This track came out. It was one of the first tracks I made this year. It's the only song I've released this year. But it has like some really dope production, really dope lyrics, a lot of really good like feelings for me. It was like a new nirvana of like uh, getting like just finding a new love, getting that heart going again. And yeah, that's how this song came about. And it was pretty dope. It was really, really dope.
Awesome, awesome. You heard it here. This is Feel by Dope Stilo. So let's get into it. Shout out to pulling through. Shout out for pulling through, and I hope to see you once again. Whenever you want to pull through to Wake and Bake, you're always welcome. So yes, sir. Let's get to it.
Thank you.
Oh, this is a Wake and Bake exclusive.
I, I appreciate you so much. Thank you so much for having me. I'll be listening in the background.
This is the Wake and Bake Vibes with Killer Strider.
Perfect combo! Absolutely wonderful!
Yeah. That was Feel by Dope Stilo. We're gonna play another one by Dope Stilo, and then we get into some music on the Sonar Muse platform. Let's turn up today. Let's play some music from the artist. Let's celebrate with some XRP getting given away. One thing I gotta say to the community is check out As a Party's Pizza right now. As a Party is giving away some free pies right now. They're giving some free NFT pies. So hit them up. Hit up Tony and get some pies, man. Get your pie, your own custom pie for this whole celebration with the XRP community. So let's get into it. Let's show some love to the XRP community. We out here. We gotta show that we out here and that we're good to go. So without further ado, let's get into some more music. Let's jam. Let's catch some vibes. Let's go. Just go check out As a Party's Twitter page, and then you'll definitely make a great pie for yourself. Something that you can probably make in real life too. If you really want to make your favorite pie, make something that you enjoy having. So show some love. Let's get into it. Music break on the Wake and Bake Vibes. Let's get into it. This